Google just ran out of appeals. The Court of Justice of the European Union dismissed Google's last challenge, 4.1 billion euros in fines, now permanent, across every EU member state, and 13 European nations can now sue Google for damages. On top, this is the full arc from 2018 to Wednesday. The Court of Justice of the European Union, CJEU, Luxembourg, Europe's highest court for EU law, its rulings are final. There is no higher court above it. In competition matters, this is the top of the ladder. The case, C738/22P, Google and Alphabet versus European Commission, filed July 2nd, 2026, 2 days ago, the final of 3 levels in EU competition appeals. The origin, 2018, the European Commission, under then Competition Commissioner Margrethe Vestager, fined Google 4.34 billion euros, the largest antitrust fine ever levied against a single company at that time. The charge, abuse of dominance in the Android ecosystem. The mechanisms, not one abuse, 2 pre-installation deals Google required device makers wanting Google Play to also pre-install Google Search and Chrome on the home screen, and anti-fragmentation agreements which barred device makers from selling non-certified Android forks. Why that matters? Together, those 2 mechanisms blocked competing search engines from distribution at scale and blocked competing Android forks from reaching device makers. Google captured 90% of mobile search share across Europe, not by product quality alone, but by contract. Google's appeal path, 2022, first level, EU General Court, upheld the finding, trimmed the fine slightly, down to 4.1 billion euros. Google appealed again to the CJEU. That was the case just dismissed. There is no further level. The July 2nd ruling rejected all of Google's grounds, substantive, procedural, and methodological. Google argued the EC miscalculated market power. CJEU said no. Google argued Chrome and search were pro-consumer. CJEU said irrelevant to the abuse. Google argued procedural rights violated. CJEU said no. What no further appeal actually means, Google cannot go to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. That is a separate treaty court. That does not review EU competition rulings. It cannot escalate to national supreme courts. EU law supersedes them on competition matters. This is legal terminus. Follow-on damages now open under Article 101 and 102 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. Any party that was harmed by Google's abuse can now sue in national court in 13 European nations, handset makers, rival search engines, rival browsers, consumer groups, all eligible. Net read. This is not a headline. Fine. Ceiling. This is a floor. Follow-on damages have historically doubled or tripled EU antitrust exposure. For similar cases, Google's total EU antitrust exposure now stands at over 8.25 billion euros across 3 cases and rising. Multi-sourced CJEU, Bloomberg, CNBC, Lawyer Monthly. Claims Journal, that's from zero. Subscribe. Honest Tech, every day.